Welcome back to my channel. This is Dashama. I'm so excited about today. The new moon is coming up, and if you've been following me for any amount of time, I always do a live stream around the new moon and the full moon. And today's session is very special because the new moon is in my sign where my birthday is coming up July 8th. So when the moon comes close to the sun, it's actually quite harmonizing and balancing. But even if you weren't born in July, this is very, very relevant. And the new moon is a time to plant seeds and set intentions. And I want to, first of all, just by start out and say, just being here, you're already setting that intention. So great job for the first step. And then the second step, if you have a journal, you might want to grab that because we're going to do a little bit of journal work. And also, I'm going to share a few prayers and rituals that I like to do and that you can do around the new moon. You can do this every month, and that this is just a really nice way to synchronize your energy with the moon. And if you think about life, it's always in these cycles, right? So first we want to start out by really assessing, where are you at in the cycle of your life? Are you in the cycle of birthing something? Are you in the cycle of winter where it seems like, nothing's really growing, but you're planting, you're putting it out there of like envisioning what you want to see happen? Or is it in the springtime where you're planting lots of seeds, but you happen to see there's a lot of rain? Or are you in the summer where you see the blossoms coming out? Or are you in the winter, right? So the fall time where things are kind of like dying and like letting go, right? So this is how the cycles of seasons help us to synchronize with the universe and with our life. And so when you start to associate or relate your life and what's happening in your life to those seasons, it can make life a little easier, because then you're not thinking like, oh no, like it can't always be harvest season, right? It can't always be summer, like unless you live in Florida, but that's another story. But the idea is that, there's always going to be the winter, the spring, the summer, and the fall. And then within that, we also have the moon time. So every month we have the new moon and we have the full moon. So the new moon represents planting seeds of intention, envisioning what you want your life to be like, and really getting clear on what you're letting go of and what you're calling into your life in order to manifest your dreams and goals. So that's what we do on the new moon, which is what we're going to do today. Be sure to stay tuned because we're going to do a journal practice, as well as I'm going to share some rituals and some different practices that you can do specifically around the new moon that can help you to just synchronize your energy more with the universe, get more into flow state, and feel better in your life. So besides for that, let's say planting the seeds is the new moon, and then 2 weeks later is the full moon. So that's why I always do a live stream or a session with our tribe and community around the new moon and the full moon. So the full moon is really when you should be feeling the energy of completion, of fulfillment of something, at least gratitude for the harvest of whatever it is that you've been planting. And that's a way also that you can synchronize your energy with the universe and say, I see that even if progress is slow, I'm feeling that there is progress, and I'm going to continue moving in the direction of my dreams and goals. The number one thing we always want to remember, though, is the very famous quote, which is, life is about the journey and not the destination. That's why I love synchronizing with the seasons and with the cycles of the universe, because you really start to gain a deeper understanding that there is never really like getting there, right? Where is there? It's just there's always going to be another new moon and another full moon. There's always going to be another winter and another summer and spring and fall. So instead of looking to get somewhere, and it's really about slowing down in a way and allowing the beauty of life in whatever season you're in, and appreciating even the hard things. I know for me, and you can leave a comment and let me know what you've been going through. But I remember last year when I was at Sadhguru's property, I went up to Tennessee with my dad around my birthday. It was actually around this time of year. And actually it's coming up again. I might go back there because they're doing a big thing for Guru Purnima. But anyway, so I remember Sadhguru was talking about the cosmic energy, right? The universe. And I've been talking about this for years as well, but the planetary alignments are so intense because of Pluto being in Capricorn conjunct like Saturn. And it was like a lot of intensity. It's still there, that it's kind of putting a lot of pressure on everything, like people, the planet, energy. So you've been feeling any of that, then join the club, because everybody's feeling it on some level. But at the same time, everybody's in their own unique season, right? So for example, my sister, she just had a baby. Now that's a unique season. Like she just did 9 months and then gave birth. And now it's full-time breastfeeding all day, every day. So even though her circumstances and situation is quite unique in that way, she has her own issues to deal with, right? Like whatever, the baby's crying, she doesn't know what it needs, and there's all of that. And then I know other people who are starting businesses or who are in the waiting phase. I met a wonderful man the other day. He's one of the top architects in the world, and he was out here on the beach in front of my place, and he's so cool. He's from Italy. He's one of the top. He came up with this idea, and he's built these buildings before called dynamic architecture, where if you have a skyscraper, most of the time, half of the units, the condos or whatever, face one direction and the other half face the other direction. So that always means that half of the units don't get the best view. So he's like, what if each floor could rotate, and then throughout the day, they could all have the best view at some point in the day, and then they'd all be equally valuable. So when I met him, he was telling me about this. He invited me to come to his home in Italy. Such a wonderful guy. He was going to be meeting with the governor of Florida to talk to him about this project. But when I talked to him, he said, yeah, I really hope they accept my project. Then think about it. He has this amazing vision, and this might be like you have a big dream, and then you're doing the work, like the steps to get that to happen. But at the same time, maybe you're in the waiting phase, because that's also one of the different stages of life that you could be in. So there's always many different potential stages that we could be in. And what I've noticed in my life is that if you can get clear on what stage you're in or what phase you're in, you can feel a lot more joy and peace around the experience and enjoy the journey a lot more, right? And that's where these rituals come into place. So today we're going to do a journaling practice and a little bit of just a couple of practices that are super powerful that you might want to do on Tuesday, which is the new moon coming up, and that can really help to make you feel more peace and ease. And one of the things that I've learned over my life is literally you have to relax in order for things to manifest. So often we want to try to make something happen, and that energy of trying or doing or pushing, or they call this resistance. It's like you're pushing against the energy of the universe. But if you can just relax and allow that it's going to happen, then what happens? It actually usually ends up manifesting a lot better and faster. Good morning, Mike. I remember your visit with your dad. Me, I'm adjusting to life on the road. Constant travel all over the US. Was just in your neighborhood a couple of weeks ago. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Well, I'm happy to have you here. And Lori, good to see you. Val, good to see you, Goddess. I'll give you a little update on what's going on with us. So the Children of the Future has been a big focus of mine for the past almost pretty much full year, getting this set up. And we're preparing to launch this big vision to help solve the children's mental health crisis in schools. And we're going to be doing that starting with the California Charter Schools District. And so I'm really excited about that. But it's like I've been planting these seeds for like a year, and sometimes you're like, oh my God, like where is the harvest or something? And it's not that it's all about the harvest, but you do need to have some signs that it's kind of like happening in order to keep going. That's very motivating and inspiring, right? So whatever you're working on, whatever you're going through, you want to check in. And that's what I like about new moon, full moon check-in. It's like you check in, you see, where am I now? How far have I come? And grateful for the journey. Look at all the blessings, look at the challenges, look at the wisdom gained from the challenges. And then from here, moving forward, what changes can I make to be better in alignment with the universe, with my own inner peace and happiness, to enjoy the journey more? right? And like Mike was saying, it's an interesting thing. Like it sounds like you made a big shift, Mike, where this is a new part of your life where you're on the road a lot. And when that kind of thing happens, where you have a new shift, all of a sudden life is different than what it was. Maybe like I don't know what you were doing before, Mike. If you want to share, you're welcome to share. But maybe he had like an office job or he worked at home and then all of a sudden he's like on the road, right? So it's like a big shift can happen. All of a sudden your life is completely different. I love that kind of thing. If that's happening for you, embrace it, because usually that means that there is like in your soul journey, there is a whole nother level available, and that the universe is opening up this portal of a new experience to be able to give you that opportunity to rise to your next level of yourself, whether it has to do with your health, your family, your prosperity, your feelings of freedom. Who knows? Maybe it's your career, whatever it is. Maybe you just have to learn to let go. Maybe you learn to have more discipline. Everybody's working on a different thing. If you want to share what you're working on in the comments, feel free. And if you're on YouTube, definitely click the like button and share in the comments, what is your new moon intention? Because I am here to help all of our community stay connected to that intention. I feel like that is the number one kind of like secret to maintaining health and happiness along the journey of life, is continuously check in with your intention and say, am I aligned with my intention? And is what I'm focusing on helping me get it towards that direction of the intention, the fulfillment of that mission or the purpose of your life? Or is it pulling you away? And how am I reacting and responding to what's going on in life? And if I'm not reacting in the best possible way, how can I make some changes perhaps that would bring more health, happiness, fulfillment, peace, joy, and abundance into my life and into the lives of those around me? And so these are the kind of check-ins that I like to do on new moon. So if you have your journal, you can go ahead and get it out. I like to do this simple practice every new moon, and I'll share it with you. And if you've watched any of my other live streams, you may have seen this before. But so at the top, so it's June 26th. So you might want to put the date if you want, June 26th, 2022. And then new moon. I like to put that at the top just so it's like a reminder what was the energy of that time. And then besides for that, you're going to put something along the lines of, at the top, let's go like this. First, you're going to put intention. That's going to be on the left side. So you're going to have two sides of this page. Intention is on the right or on the left. And then on the right, it's going to be feeling. This is like pretty much the only thing that matters. Your intention and how do you feel? Like, think about it. What else matters? Like, you can do anything you want in life. You can have anything you want in life. You can manifest your greatest dreams. You can literally do nothing. And it's all good as long as you're in alignment with your intention and you feel good about that, right? So that's the important thing that I like to teach with Flow State Institute, is that so often we have these big, grandiose ideas and they're great. And if you want to do that, awesome. But make sure that whatever you're doing, that it's an intention that you're clear about and that you feel good along the journey. Because if at some point or the whole time you don't feel good about it, you got to reevaluate and reassess and let go of whatever it is that doesn't feel good. This is literally the key to happiness. And it sounds kind of simple, but actually it can be difficult. Leave a comment if you know what I mean. Why is it difficult? It's difficult because we as humans have attachments to things. We form expectations around what we want life to be, or how it should be, or how people should be, or the way things should be. In the end of the day, there is no should be. There is clear communication. There are clear boundaries that we can set in order to create the best possible dynamic in our lives and with other people in our lives. But at the end of the day, you can't control anybody. We can't control anybody. All we can do is control how we feel and how connected we are to our intention, and also the boundaries that we set and the communication that we offer, so that we can always, on the journey of this life, stay in our highest vibration, stay in alignment with that good energy and that good feeling, so that whatever you're doing, doesn't even matter what it is, that you feel good that you're doing it. And if you feel good that you're doing it, then you're on the right path. And if you don't, then you got to reevaluate. So I want to look at this page, intention and feeling. So I'll give you a moment. You're just going to write on the left side of the list, it's intention. So what is your intention moving forward in this new moon? You could also consider this like, what seeds are you planting? What seeds are you planting that could potentially bring you closer to the fulfillment of your dreams and goals? Let's see if I can clean that a little bit. Because realistically, if you've been working really hard and you feel like you're going the wrong direction perhaps, or you're not getting closer to your dreams and goals, then it's time to reevaluate and get a redirection. So sometimes life gives you a huge obstacle in order to make you stop and look at your life and say, am I going the right direction or am I going the wrong direction? And if you're going the wrong direction, you have to immediately reevaluate. Sometimes it takes stopping everything, getting quiet inside, and literally just asking yourself internally, am I going the right direction? Is this leading me to my highest fulfillment of my purpose? Is this leading me to the highest fulfillment of my joy, of my happiness of life? Am I moving in the right direction? This is an important question to ask yourself, both in your journals, in your meditation, in your contemplation, in your prayers. You could also ask God if you have a prayer practice that you connect to a higher power like that. I call it the source of life, God, the universe. All of those are like the same thing. Basically, it's the energy that created everything, that's always present in every moment of our existence, infinitely loving and supporting us. And the more that we can check in and connect with that frequency, then we will always be guided in our best possible direction. But it starts with intention, because we do have what we call free will. As a human, we have free will. So having free will, what does that actually mean? It means that no matter like the universe, there is a form of, I believe there's a form of destiny, right? You're like born, you have somewhat of a purpose in life, and you move towards this fulfillment of your destiny. But then there's free will. Sometimes we choose and we make the wrong decisions and we go the wrong direction, and we literally get smashed to get the wake-up call to go in a new direction, because it's like, all right, you're going down the wrong way, you got to change directions. And it's hard, because that's usually a big ego wake up. If you've ever had that experience where you were going in one direction, could be with a relationship, could be with your career, work, a client, family, whatever it is, maybe you're going in a certain direction and then all of a sudden things are just not flowing. And you got to look at that and say, wow, what is this telling me? Is it sharing with me this is not the direction for me? Is this not the people for me? And then be really in your highest self in the communication around that. Be like, this is not in alignment with me. Set your boundaries. Boundaries are really the key. Boundaries is like, this is what I'm able to allow in my life, and to communicate that clearly so that the other people in your life are able to respect that. And if they can't, you have to be willing to walk away. You have to be willing to say, I love myself too much to allow anything in my life that's not supporting me, loving me, and meeting me where I am. Okay, let's see. Lori had something to say. Oh, we got lots of comments. Let's see. Mike said, so it was a big shift for me. He used to have a job as a welder, learning to be comfortable with my own company for long periods of time. Quite a challenge at first adjusting. That's a good point. I actually have always loved my own company, but it's gotten better and better over time. Just to give you that solace, it gets better and better over time, especially if you meditate, practice yoga, do all these inner work, the inner work, which is checking in with yourself, like finding things that bring you joy, observing your mind, and finding things that are beautiful in your life to be grateful for, the more that you do that when you're alone, then being alone becomes really, really beautiful, because you're like, wow, I love being alone because it gives me an opportunity to truly get intimate with myself. I talk to myself and I tell myself how great I am, how grateful I am for life. I find things that are fun to do just by myself. For example, every morning, me and my puppy Mi Amor, she's my best friend. She's so cute. She just turned 1. We go out to the beach and we do a whole thing. We run, we do yoga, we meditate, we play in the ocean, and every day. And it's literally the best thing. I love my morning. I would never trade my mornings with anything. And I call it the miracle morning. I have this whole yoga Kriya thing that I do, clearing the energy of the chakras, and it's powerful. And so it's interesting because, I think about, like, if I didn't give myself that time. I know a lot of people wake up and immediately they're on the phone, they're on the email. I talked to a guy the other day. He's a super successful, high powerful business guy. And he was telling me he gets up at 6 a.m. First thing he does is on the computer, on the phone. This is another thing you can do to set as your intention, literally, don't be on the phone for the first 2 hours of the day. That's a great intention if you want to try it, because this can be life-changing, literally life-changing, just to shift that one thing. And then replacing your phone time or your computer time in that first part of the morning with something that's more nourishing for your soul. Like for me, I like I said, run on the beach, do yoga, swim, meditate, play with my puppy. Like there's a whole routine that I wouldn't be able to do if I was on my phone that whole time. So this is just an example, but think about yourself. What does your routine look like? So put your intention. So let's say your intention is you started a new business and you want to get that really successful in the next 12 months. Let's say in the next year, you want to grow your business or whatever to a new level and 10x your income. That's a great intention. But even if you just said 2x or 3x, it's still a great intention. Whatever your specifics are, just get clear on that. Then you put your intention. So let's say that was your intention. And then the feeling. So on the right side of the list, you're going to put your feeling. What does it feel like when that happens? Why do you want that to happen? What is the feeling you're going for? So for example, with that, you might want to feel like the feeling could be expansive, fulfillment. Now, if your feelings are expansive and fulfillment, then the practice in your meditation is going to be meditating on already feeling expansive fulfillment energy. Because the more that you can already feel the way that you want to feel in relation to your intention, the quicker it will manifest. And this is just the basics about how manifesting works. So it's all about how you feel. And it took me a long time to understand that. I've always been a very highly sensitive person. Actually, there's a word for that, HSP. Leave a comment or click the like if you're an HSP. Highly sensitive people, they're my people. Basically, people that are super in touch with your emotions and you feel everything. So maybe you feel other people's energy, you feel the energy from nature, you feel your own emotions more intensely than others. It's a very unique experience as a human to be an HSP. But it was very difficult for many years because I didn't know how to deal with that energy. Now, all these years later, I'm really starting to understand it's not, I used to think it's a detriment, but I see it now as like a superpower, but only if you learn how to master that energy. So if your energy is super intense, but if you can amplify the energy that you feel of joy, of fulfillment, of gratitude, love, and all of the positive energies that you're aiming for through your list of intentions, then what's going to happen is you're going to manifest faster. So it's actually a really good thing for people that want to manifest, is to be able to tap into these emotions, but to be able to shift out of a negative emotion. That's the difficulty, but that's actually how I started the Flow State Institute. I was like, wow, sometimes I would get into such a dark spiral of grief or trauma or whatever it was that would get triggered because I had a lot of trauma in my early childhood. I had so many things. I grew up, most people know my story, but I grew up in foster homes. My mother lost her mind when I was 7. She became schizophrenic from drug and alcohol addiction. And my sisters and I ended up split up and sent to live with strangers in the foster care system. So it was traumatic to say the least. But anyway, that was just one thing that happened along the many, many, many traumas that I experienced. The point is that we've all experienced something difficult. So if you've ever been in a difficult place, what happens is, especially as a child, then later in life as an adult, you may experience what we call triggers. And in my book, Journey to Joyful, if you've never read my book, Journey to Joyful, go read that book. It's on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. You can check it out. It's amazing. It's also available in the Flow State teacher training as an ebook and part of our training manual. But anyway, so there's this principle that we talk about, which is Shenpa. A Shenpa is a Buddhist word, but it's a Tibetan word that means you're kind of like the trigger. So if something happens in your life and you feel intensely triggered, what that is a Shenpa. So the Buddhist approach to handling that is stop, don't react, don't even respond, just breathe, connect to your breath, get calm, and then reapproach the situation from a new calm energy, because you realize it's not about the other person as much as it's about something inside of you or us that needs healing. So if something comes into your life that triggers this feeling of like anger or just whatever, violation, or feel like disrespected, or whatever the energy could be that it triggered, then you stop and you got to go back and do inner child healing meditation and look at your inner child and say, where in my inner child did I not feel loved and cared for? Or where did I have trauma? And then heal that. So every single encounter that we ever have in our lives is literally a blessing, because it's showing us what we need to heal. And if we can take step by step, take our life in that way and just see it as it is, and not try to project blame on others, but just respond from a place of ownership of our wound, and also take our power back and approach it with clear communication and love, and we can create harmony within any relationship. But if that's not possible for some reason, I also recommend the Ho'oponopono prayer. If you haven't done the Ho'oponopono prayer, I have a video on that. You can check it out on my channel. It's in the Happiness Challenge, and it's very simple, but basically it goes like this. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. What I love about this prayer is that it takes responsibility for our role in whatever happens in life. So if something happens in your life, then if you say, I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry if whatever it is, if there's some role that I played in this, I'm sorry, please forgive me. So that's taking that responsibility. And then I love you. So that's sending love, and then thank you. So it's sending gratitude. So the combination of those four things, love, gratitude, taking responsibility, and being humble, is literally the formula for evolution. Like if we can do that on a daily basis in all of our interactions, taking that responsibility is truly one of the keys. But love and gratitude is always the formula for a high vibration, for happiness, and for the fulfillment and manifestation of our dreams. It's literally impossible to manifest your dreams if you're in a place of resentment, anger, or any of these shame, guilt, low vibration emotions. So this is key. That's why I'm saying with intention and feeling. So let's say your intention is to let go of somebody that's hurt you or that you feel has hurt you. Then the feeling is liberation. The feeling is, let's say it could be anything for you, but let's just give it a word. The feeling is gratitude. The feeling is joy. The feeling is innocence. The feeling is empowerment. Whatever that feels like for you, to reclaim your energy that was being, let's say, sucked or drained away by somebody or something in life, and then in a way gives you your power back. That's the key. Welcome. We got some more people joining. Let's see. Lori says she's at HSP. Mike is at HSP. Val's at HSP. Everybody's HSP. See, I think that's the kind of people that gravitate towards this program, because HSP, the unique thing, and I'm going to actually put it, there's another word, ESP. So ESP is extrasensory perception. HSP is highly sensitive person. But
those two go hand in hand. Most people that are HSP are actually also capable of cultivating a very high level of ESP. Now, I just want to talk, leave a comment if you know what ESP is. ESP is a superpower, extrasensory perception. It means that you have the ability to perceive and sense things that other people can't. That's a power, that's a superpower. But at the same time, if you don't know how to like cultivate that, strengthen that, master that energy, then it can just feel overwhelming, right? Like you're like, I have this perception, but I don't know what to do with it. So instead of like it feeling like a superpower, it feels like kind of like that kryptonite energy. It just actually brings you down. So instead, you want to look at it like, okay, so how do I utilize this extra sensitivity that I have as a HSP to cultivate and strengthen my ESP? Now, ESP allows you to become like psychic, to be able to see people's energy, see into the future, see the truth of life at a very high level. And this is an incredible gift. So I would highly encourage, if you're watching this video and you're HSP and you want to cultivate your ESP, then in our program, the Flow State teacher training, that's kind of what we do. Because think about it, what you're learning to do is master your energy and master your focus. And through your mind and your energy, your thoughts and your feelings, you're going to create anything you want in life. And that's what the Flow State teacher training is all about. I'm super excited because we actually are going to be doing a live Flow State training retreat in Bali, our most popular location. This is our 12th year in Bali, and it's in November. So if you've ever thought about going to Bali or coming to a life-changing teacher training for yoga, becoming certified as a yoga teacher, and or just deepening your powers for mind, body, and soul, come to Bali with us November 1st through 11th, 2022. And everybody who's in our close community, you can get 10% off when you enroll with my name, Dashama. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there. And if you want, go to the website. It's at flowstate.yoga and you can learn more. And I think it's flowstate.yoga/apply. So that's the page to apply. Let's see, Lori says, I offered free classes all month at a new studio. I'm renting space. Out of 21 classes, I had students for 6 days. So far, still 4 days left in the month. Next month, I'm paying rent, so I change it up to be all the days I'm working is days my husband is working. I didn't let it bother me from most of my days. I noticed I was glad no one signed up when he was off. So I know next month, if no one comes, I'll go use the studio for myself. But I do need to run ads for next month. So calling in my students for next month. Well, I'm going to just say for you, Lori, congratulations on taking that first step. That's a big step. Just putting yourself out there is already incredible. But I do want to mention, I think it's super important to mention that, yeah, you do need to do more than just hope people show up. If you have a business, you can't just be like, and then they all showed up. No, you need to do marketing, advertising, talking to people, like that's, especially in the beginning, you have to be a little bit more proactive in terms of connecting with people. And although I do think putting things out for free is good, I don't necessarily recommend it for business, because if you put out your classes for free, then in the future, people are a lot less inclined to pay. So you want to start right out charging for stuff. I mean, I make videos on YouTube kind of for free. I mean, I get advertising revenue and different things from this, so it's beneficial, but also I include my community. So it's a service that I offer. But if you're renting a space in your, studio, you need to be able to pay your rent. So you have to charge. I want to give you this important advice so that it doesn't happen again, because you don't want to be the person that's like, man, I went out of business because I gave everything away for free. Val says, me too. Everybody's HSP. Mike says, I have read it 3 times. Yes, triggers are real. Be aware of them. You have shown me so many different new ways to live. Thank you. Oh, Mike, that's so awesome. I love hearing that. That's so amazing. You read my book 3 times. It was so cool. The book is called Journey to Joyful. And it's funny because I got invited to speak at the International Day of Happiness at the United Nations because of that book. And I became like a happiness expert, and I was inducted into the Happiness Hall of Fame, not only because of that book, but that was one of the reasons. So it's really cool to see it impacting people's lives, and it makes me feel really good. I'm actually going to be releasing a new book soon. Let's see. I can see and feel people's energy easily, but it's sometimes overwhelming. Yeah, so that's the thing. So this whole process through the Flow State Institute is learning how to work with that energy. Like if you can see and feel energy, but then it's hard for you to process it or deal with it, then you want to master your ability to work with that energy. And that's what Flow State Institute is all about. At our teacher trainings and our retreats, we teach you how to work with that, and not only work with it, but how to master that, how to really like become a master of that, so that other people's energy cannot affect you. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't have challenging things. And every time you get to a new level of mastery of this energy, then you're going to be challenged again at a higher level. And it's going to be up to you, up to each of us to rise to that level and not default to the old ways of reaction and communication. Instead, rise to a new level of love and compassion and communication and good energy and harmony, no matter what it takes, and making that a priority. And I really believe that. Like, I feel that that should be the priority of all interactions that we do as a person that's on this path. I call this the master path. This is literally the master path. There's all these like beginners, and I'm gonna, do more content for beginners soon, but like, I prefer to work with the master path, because the master path is people that have already been on the path at some point, or at least to a certain extent, understand energy, understand that you want to enlighten yourself through the journey of evolution, through the practice and the path of yoga and meditation and all of these amazing life-changing experiences that we offer. The master path is not for everyone. So leave a comment if you feel like you're on the master path, because the master path is not for everybody, like I said, but at the same time, more and more people are feeling ready for that. And the reason is because we're evolving as a humanity. Like, humans on Earth are actually at a new level of consciousness, and they're not like all enlightened yet, but it's like moving in that direction. And the way I see it, if you want to know my prediction for the future, eventually humanity will be, like, as a baseline, much more conscious. So we're moving in that direction where like people care for the planet, they care for one another, loving thy neighbor as thyself, loving thyself as the earth. Like, literally, this energy of loving compassion and harmony is the 5D reality that we are moving towards. But that's going to take time. So it doesn't happen overnight. It's like you can't just snap the fingers and be like, 5D reality, everyone. But how do you get there? You don't get there on a unicorn ride across a rainbow. You get to the unicorn ride on the rainbow by doing the deep inner work, the shadow work, working through the anger, the resentment, the guilt, the inner child trauma, the ancestral karma, like all the deep dark energy, the triggers, the shenpas, the reactivity, all of that is the master path. Literally, like, you would not see somebody who is like super high level master that never experienced any difficulties. That will never happen. And when I say master, I'm talking about master of mind and emotions, and then master of life. So master of life is where you can, like in The Alchemist, in the book The Alchemist, command the wind. Literally tell the wind, which is like another, like a metaphor for telling the universe, this is what I want, this is what I have, I want it, I got it, I want it, I got it. Like the song by Ariana Grande, I want it, I got it, I want it, I got it. There is a energy to that, to knowing that you have the power in you right now already to command the wind, to manifest anything that you want in life. That power is inherent in your soul, and nobody can take that away from you. But if you're in an experience, a dynamic of relationship dynamic, career dynamics, where you're giving your power away, you have to stop that. Take your power back, reclaim your energy. Some people call it go back into your own frame. I like to call it like take your power back, or like focus on yourself. Bring your awareness within to your power, to your connection to God, to your greatness, to your purpose of life, to your intention. Stay with that. And from that place of alignment with God, purpose, intention, the feelings that you want to feel, all of that is your greatest power. And when you bring all the power back into your center, and you get really clear on how you want to show up, who you want to be, and what you want your life to look like and feel like, what kind of people you want to have around you, and then just call that in. Call that in with absolute clarity and certainty. And if you don't have clarity and certainty yet, journal about it, pray about it, meditate about it, ask God to give you that clarity and that certainty, because it's through clarity and certainty that you will be able to get into alignment and manifest it. But if you don't even know what you want, you won't be able to manifest it, because it's just not even something, you don't even know what you want. You have to get clear on that first. And that's what this journaling prompt is all about. Intention is what you want. Feeling how you want to feel by having that, or whatever it is. And when we say what you want, a lot of times people imagine like a house or a car or even a relationship, but those are all very external. So we want to think like, what do you want? Okay, let's say you want to fulfill your life purpose. That's not an external thing. It's actually like very internal. That's a great intention. And then from there, how will that feel? If you're fulfilling your life purpose, if you're impacting 1 million people or 100 million people or 1 billion people, like what does it look like for you to feel that you are fulfilling your life purpose? How does that feel? That's the other side of it. Same thing with relationships. This is something I've gotten really clear about. What kind of friendships do I want to have? What kind of relationships do I want to have? And how does that feel to be in that dynamic? And then measuring that against what do I have? Like the relationship dynamics that I have, measuring that. So do this with your relationships, do this with your career, do this with your financial situations, do this with your family, your home, and your health, and your spiritual energy. So do this in all the areas of your life. Like I said, family, career, finances, spirituality, health and wellness, and any other dynamics that you want to add to that list, you're welcome to. But basically, the important thing is that, you know, you want to assess. And this is a wonderful time on the new moon. Assess. What is your intention? How does it feel? And then once you fill up the page, I know this is like a long description of this, but anyway, once you fill up the page, then you want to take each one by one and meditate on it. So that's the other part. And the best thing, if you can, do this by water. You could do this in the bathtub. If you have Epsom salts, put the Epsom salts in the bath. I also like to put lavender oil or any kind of like really nice oil to just bring a good energy into the bath, relaxing scent, Epsom salt. And then come into the list that you just made, and you're going to go one by one, look at your intention, meditate on it. How does it feel when it's fulfilled? Intention, feeling, intention, feeling, and do your whole list and meditate on that while you're in water or by water or drinking water or all three combined. And that's how you're going to align with this new moon with the highest possible vibration, moving forward to create the second half of 2022 to be the best possible year. I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but sometimes you start out the new year with like high hopes and then a lot of crazy stuff happens. So we want to start like a reset, and we're going to reset for the new year starting today, starting at this new moon. Let's see. Lori says, I was all over social and even spammed groups. I didn't want to, but the studio was, so I just went for it because I wasn't paying rent. Mike says, I'm playing hooky to attend this Zoom meeting. Everything will be fine though. Have a great day, everyone. All right, Mike, so nice to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Sorry that you're playing hooky. That's funny. Lori, I mean, the studio is already offering free classes all month and no one was showing up to their classes at all. They still didn't have any people come to classes for free. And I'm grateful for every student that showed up. Here's the thing. People don't usually show up, to be honest, if something's free. Not always, but a lot of times if it's free, the value is not very high. And also, generally, you got to look at it and ask yourself, if it's free, do I really believe in my teaching? Do I believe that people would pay to come to my class? And if you don't, then it's really important to do some practicing. Teaching, practice teaching. So yeah, do it for free while you practice perhaps, or you could do exchanges. You want to practice if you're a new teacher, so that when you are in front of people and you're teaching a class, And also the other part of that is doing your own practice. I actually believe that having your own personal practice that's powerful will attract more people to want to practice with you. Because if you think about it, everything is energy. So if people are coming to practice with you, it's because on an energetic level, they believe that you can teach them something. So if you don't really have that much to teach someone, the universe is not going to bring you a lot of students. But if you have a lot to teach people, then you're going to get a lot of students. You know, like I've been able to reach like millions, tens of millions, 100 million probably people. And I feel like it's because I have a lot of experience that, first of all, with my personal practice and then as a teacher. So the more you practice, the more you do your personal practice, the more you teach as a teacher or whatever you do it with yourself and then grow that strength of being powerful from within. And then from there, you're going to see that you can command a higher price or you can do whatever. Like there's all these different kind of like benefits that come from that. So your personal practice is your priority. And then second to that is putting yourself out as a teacher and seeing, you know, how you can make a business with it. But I would definitely start with just your personal practice because that's where you're going to experience the greatest shift and the greatest benefits anyway. Let's see. I had some more comments over here. Lori says, I feel actually like I did get to where I am on a unicorn with lots of rainbows. I've been divinely guided. Good. Mike says, to be love in all areas of my life. Oh, that's beautiful. Lori says, yeah, I agree. I just wanted to feel comfortable and I did. And it really helped me to feel confident to my class structure. I have too much to teach people. So it's like I had to back it off. Well, okay. So anyway, basically, I just want you all to have this amazing journal practice for the new moon. Do it. It's going to change your life. And if you want, I'm going to read you from Sadhguru's book that he gave me. It's so nice. The people at his foundation gave me this for the holidays. Dear Dashama, thank you for being a part of the ride with Sadhguru as a part of some big thing that they did. Wish you a wonderful year ahead. Best. And they sent me this Christmas card and this book. It's so nice. So let's see. I'm going to read something from the book and see if you like to hear it. Here's a little passage from the chapter. It says, dynamic stillness and static stagnation. Interesting. Okay, if you look at it objectively, stillness and stagnation are about the same. Physically, they could be seen as about the same, but qualitatively, they are worlds apart. Stillness and stagnation are different. Stagnation is a certain disease. It is anti-life. Stillness is a tremendous amount of life, not manifesting itself in any way. It is just there, potent. That is God. God is stillness, not stagnation. The mind is stagnation. Sadhana is a force that moves you from stagnation to stillness. But between stagnation and stillness, when they are together, there seems to be very little difference, since your logical mind only understands in terms of moving and not moving. Not moving is stagnation, but stillness is also not moving. This non-movement, you may call it stillness or stagnation because it's purely subjective. If you look at it objectively, stillness and stagnation are about the same. Physically, they could be seen as about the same, but qualitatively, they are worlds apart. A person who is meditating and a person who is sleeping may look about the same. One is sitting and sleeping, another is lying down and sleeping. That is all. For a person who doesn't know the difference, that's all he sees. Have you seen how much sarcasm people look at meditation? Those so-called dynamic people of the world, they think it's for people who don't even know how to sleep. Externally, there may be no difference between stillness and stagnation. Internally, there is a tremendous difference from stagnation to stillness, from ignorance to enlightenment. That's the difference. In a way, it is the same thing. Only the quality has to change. That is all. So hopefully you understand like the point of that. So when we're on a spiritual path, you know, you want to assess yourself, like, are you dead, tired, and fatigued? Because that's stagnation. Or are you getting still and quiet to connect to God, to get to your higher intention, to radiate loving energy out to the world and come from a place of peace and light and unity. And, so you want to look at like where your energy is coming from. And the best way to do that is through your meditation practice. So anyway, just wanted to come on here for this new moon. Hopefully this session has been valuable to you. I always try to provide a lot of value, and through my YouTube channel. Actually, I'm going to start doing a lot more videos. I'm going down to Costa Rica this week. I'm going to be filming a bunch of stuff for YouTube and TikTok, and I'm excited about that. I don't know what happened to my Instagram. It's still hacked, and hopefully I'll get that back eventually. But if not, I'm moving forward with my life. Lots of beautiful blessings. We do have our yoga teacher training coming up in November in Bali. So if you've been thinking about a life-changing transformational retreat, healing experience, and or yoga teacher training immersion into the master path, join us in Bali November 1st through 11th. And you can learn more and apply at flowstate.yoga/apply. I'll put the link below, and I look forward to seeing you on this beautiful, incredible, life-changing journey. And meanwhile, definitely do your journal prompts that we went over. This can be life-changing if you allow it to be. Let your life become a part of the grand cycle of life instead of just kind of like going through the motions. Life is a beautiful journey, and we're always going through these cycles. So synchronize with the cycle of the universe and start to feel the energy of flow returning in your life. I am here with you every step of the way. Let's see. Jean says Elon Musk might be able to retrieve your Instagram. I don't have him as a direct contact, but if you have a contact with him, let me know. Jean says, the way I felt helping to raise the vibration of 8 billion people and the zillions and zillions of life forms last Sunday at the FINA in Miami. Oh, good. Amazing. Exactly. So we're going to do that. I'll probably do a live stream on Tuesday. I might do it on Facebook though, but we'll do a healing meditation to send healing, loving energy out to the whole world. We'll do that together. And but for today, we're running out of time. So leave a comment. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you're not on YouTube already. You can also go to the flowstate.app, download the Flowstate app, be a part of our community in there. And we have different videos, practices, meditations, breath work, EFT, tapping, lots of different ways of clearing your energy, getting more in alignment with the universe, and connecting with tribe and community, which is what it's all about. So check out the app, join us in Bali. You can do our online training as well if you don't feel ready to travel yet to Bali. And what else is going on? I'm also going to be releasing my kids' book pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. We're just in the process of illustrating it right now. It's called The Giving Sea, and it's an amazing, amazing, blessed, beautiful gift that I'm going to be presenting to the children. So I'm really excited and grateful about that. Okay, many blessings, my friends. Be sure and check out my other videos if you're on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel, click the like, leave a comment. Let me know what your new moon intentions are. I'm here to support you every step of the way. Have a